You've got these blue bars on the floor, which the astronauts hook their feet under, okay, to stabilize themselves in this so-called weightless environment, okay? Just want to show you that before we watch the silliness. Right, so we're back with our mate. It's about 6 seconds in, our friend here has his first judder. As it would seem, the lifting device or apparatus is activated. And there begins the bouncing mockery. Pay particular attention to his legs, his thighs, as he's bouncing up and down. And pay particular attention to how high he's bouncing. Now, bearing in mind, we're faced with two scenarios here. One, our bouncing friend has his feet under the blue bars and is doing squats, bizarrely enough, while he's being interviewed. Not only is that ridiculous, but you would need to have shins at least 4 foot in height to enable him to get anywhere near the height our bouncing friend gets to. So that's not a good option anyway, and that's the first option. And the second's even worse. Because the second option is he hasn't got his feet hooked under the bars and he's bouncing up and down like he's on a trampoline. The problem with that is, how does he change his directional vector from one point going up to the next moment going downwards in the opposite direction? How is that possible in a weightless environment if his feet aren't hooked under the bars? So I say, we've only got two choices. One, he's got his feet under the bars and he's got shins 4 feet high and he's doing squats while he's being interviewed. Or two, he's not, and he's bouncing up and down and his directional vectors are changing because of magic. So let's have a look.
Awesome. And obviously I do want to ask the spacecraft that brought you up to the International Space Station was manufactured by Boeing. Do you have any suggestions for them for next time?
Boing.
Sure, we got a lot of suggestions. And we'll share all of those, and they've made some great strides and wonderful positive impacts on the human spaceflight, and they'll continue to do so. And yeah, suggestion.
Any fantasists thinking that gold carabiner there is a glimmer of hope for their delusional world? Wrong. Demonstrable reality destroys all this, and that carabiner, I hate to break it to you, is augmented reality. People interact with things that aren't actually there, but they're presented to us on screen as being there. It's quite clever. So that's not going to cut it either. I want to know how our bouncing friend here is changing his vector.
That's back and forth. It's always that way, regardless of it's the same way with SpaceX and other providers, others that are coming online. So sure, you bet.
I get the sense, though, that you're not too upset about having a longer stay up on that space station.
No, there's no reason to be.
Come back again. Like I said, someone come and defend this. How does he change his vectors? Why is he bouncing so high?
Awesome. And obviously I do want to ask the spacecraft that brought you up to the International Space Station was manufactured by Boeing. Do you have any suggestions for them for next time?
Sure, we got a lot of suggestions.
Do you know what I just did? Well, I submitted my application to join the Rotary Club here in Northern Kentucky. Of course, that's trusting they'll allow me in because I think of Groucho Marx's comment, I'm not sure I'd want to join a club that would want me as a member. Now, I'm not joining Rotary just because I want to serve the community. I have a very personal reason. You see, this photo over my shoulder here is of one of the most beautiful places on earth. It's one of the castles in the Highlands of Scotland. I was a Rotary Scholar in Scotland about 40 years ago. Rotary International paid my tuition, room, board, and travel to attend the University of Glasgow for 1 year.
He teaches kids about the heliocentric system. So he has come to every Flat Earth conference that we've had, and we've embraced him, and we've educated him. We taught him that, hey, we're not a disk in space. We're, all the stuff about Flat Earth, and then he goes and writes a book, let me see if I have it, called Falling Flat. And he uses this picture after we teach him. So the thing is, why do you have to lie? Why do you have to straw man if your argument's real?
It turns out at that time, people in the West at least had known the Earth was a globe for 2,000 years. It was not an issue, hadn't been an issue for 2 millennia in the West at least. So that was kind of a lie made up in the 19th century. And there's an evolutionary connection. If you want to go there, we can talk about that a little later on. So this idea that the church thought that and taught that the Earth was flat, that's a myth that was created in the 19th century. And
I'm Danny Faulkner. I'm an astronomer. I work for Answers in Genesis on the research staff. Belief in Genesis and creation is extremely important because foundational doctrines of Christianity are found there. Things such as where we came from, a hint of where we're going, why are we here, why do we sin?
The all-seeing eye when the pyramid. You are a Mason.
well, it even gets better than that. I have a little jar here, and I've got a Masonic letter opener in here, and I've got some dividers, and I've got a glow ball, and even worse, it says right there, Mason, right on the jar.
Now I know you're a Mason. You're drinking out of them.
You know what I did a few years ago is I was getting accused of being a Mason, so I just set this on my desk and took a picture and put it on my without any comment, just put it up there. And I had a little mannequin that's giving this flat Earth salute thing, putting next to it, and it lit up. People were saying he's admitting he's a Freemason. I set this on my desk and took a picture and put it on my without any comment, just put it up there. And I had a little mannequin that's giving this flat Earth salute thing, putting next to it. And it lit up. People were saying he's admitting he's a Freemason. Had a mason jar. I mean, that ought to have been the first clue that I'm just playing with you folks. And I'm playing with people on that. But the other thing up there, all-seeing eye, that is several years ago, people here at AIG, Answers in Genesis, wrote some books about cults and secret, other things, including Freemasonry. And they had a conference that they did on it, and that was one of the props that they had. And since I was getting into the flat Earth stuff, one of them gave them to me, and I just put the prop. Usually, when I do these programs, I'll have these things in the background just as a little Easter egg for people to see.
I think people that first encounter flat Earth, they all say, well, I once believed that it was a stupid idea, but I tried to refute it and I couldn't. Well, that's because you didn't go to the right sources. You went on the internet and you heard these arguments from flat earthers that you couldn't answer. Yeah. That's because you didn't know the answers. I know the answers. I haven't encountered an argument yet I couldn't refute.
So how do you have gas pressure without a container? Nothing? Danny Faulkner, PhD astrophysicist, runs an observatory and profits from the lies.